Tech, the NYC Cornell Tech Dean Dan Huttenlocher. Speaker Quinn will be joining us shortly. Ellen Pollavy, who is here, who is the co-chair of the Roosevelt Island Community Coalition, and Jonathan Kalkin, who is the other co-chair of the Roosevelt Island Community Coalition, and Lawrence Parness, who is a resident of Roosevelt Island and a Community Board 8 member. So we are here today to share the good news, which is that we are voting in the City Council to fully approve the Cornell Technion Applied Sciences and Engineering Campus for Roosevelt Island. Hello, Speaker Quinn join us. Cornell NYC Tech is going to change the city as we know it. This world-class applied sciences and engineering campus is expected to have a $33 billion economic impact in 5 boroughs, creating an estimated 48,000 new jobs and 1,000 spin-offs over the next 3 decades. This is really a once-in-a-generation opportunity to transform our economy and to drive innovation in this city. And when the mayor first proposed this idea, this contest to have universities from all over the world compete, we spoke up very clearly on Roosevelt Island and built a coalition to say that we wanted to have this campus not just in the city, not just in Manhattan, but on Roosevelt Island. We held rallies, we Facebooked, we tweeted, we sent letters, we worked very proactively with the city and with all of the bidders to encourage them to take a look at Roosevelt Island, because it's a perfect choice for this kind of a game-changing opportunity. It's very close to Manhattan. You have the tram, you have the subway. Hopefully we will have ferry service sometime soon.
Like a dog with a
But it really is a very special place. It's a small town in the middle of the big city. It's accessible, it's lovely, and we're very excited that the Cornell campus is going to become part of the island. This is the last step in the land use review process, which has been a very collaborative and involved process. And I really want to thank the Roosevelt Island Community Coalition for their tremendous work and advocacy of putting together a document that we were able to work with. And I want to thank Cornell for working with us on obtaining so many great groundbreaking commitments from Cornell. And the first is that we are going to be doing very aggressive use of barging during the construction process, which is, as far as we can tell, the first time barging is going to be done on this scale and magnitude anywhere in the city of New York on a construction project. And it's going to cut the number of construction vehicles on the island by half when compared to traditional construction methods. There's also going to be air quality monitoring throughout both the construction and the demolition and construction of the site. Cornell NYC Tech is going to be working with our public schools in a fantastic way, particularly when it comes to science, technology, engineering, and math. Starting this summer, they're going to team up with 4 middle schools to launch a program for girls to learn how to code, do web design and robotics from some of the industry's top experts, and they're going to adopt the school on Roosevelt Island, PSIS 217, which will really benefit from that partnership. Cornell is also going to be working very closely with the community to make sure that this is a campus that's part of the fabric of the island and open to not just the students, but the residents who live there. So with that, I want to turn it over to Speaker Quinn, and then we'll hear from Cornell.
Well, thank you, and I just want to thank everyone from Roosevelt Island, the Community Board, the Roosevelt Island Community Coalition, who have worked so long and hard first on winning the project, so to speak, but then also on making sure we get it right. Thank everybody at Cornell for their great interest and commitment to this, the folks at the Technion as well for their interest, but first and foremost and most significantly, Councilmember Lappin, who's really, the second this idea was put out there by Mayor Bloomberg, and the mayor deserves a lot of credit for seeing and seizing the potential of New York to become the engineering, the tech, the innovation economy capital of the world, and recognizing the role that great universities could play in that. Jessica immediately saw the role and potential of Roosevelt Island, all politics being local, and making sure that this happened there. And then recognizing that when step 1 was achieved, there were a lot more steps, because you didn't just want it to be on Roosevelt Island. You wanted to make sure we got it right, and that is what is happening today. A great step forward for the city, a great step forward, quite frankly, for the world as relates to the brilliant minds that will get trained here, and the ideas and the innovations that will be developed here. A great thing clearly for the city, but most importantly from our perspective as the local legislature, a great thing for this community. And Jessica, you've really hit that balance working with your neighbors and the residents. You've hit it exactly right. And I will say I was joking, not really, about the ferries, but let me tell you, everything related to this, Jessica has been focused, dogged, like a laser on, and the things that aren't yet fully there, she made it perfectly clear to me the other day when I congratulated her on things like the ferry. She said, yes, thanks, Bob. So we're very clear that the pushing will continue. And I just want to say it's particularly exciting to me that Cornell's going to be here, because Cornell is the only Ivy League school that can say it's also a state school. So that to me is a very important thing in our city, to have a state university be part of what is now going to be one of the most significant universities in the world. So thank you guys for that, believing in the power of public higher education, and thank you all for what you've done, and yay barges. And congratulations. Awesome.
And I should add that as part of the negotiation, the administration has committed to work with us to help fund ferry service on a one-year pilot project basis, and they're also going to be working very closely with the residents on making sure that the public safety and the terrorism concerns that have been raised as a result of this project are addressed. So next we will hear from Kathy Dove, who is the Vice President of Cornell NYC Tech.
Thank you, Councilmember Lappin. I'm not going to repeat all of what was just said. Councilmember Lappin has been an incredible partner through this entire process, and I actually would like people to join me in thanking you for everything you've done for this. So in addition to Speaker Quinn's support, which has been outstanding, in her leadership in this, I really want to take a moment to thank the community. We first met the Roosevelt Island community in 2011 when we were first thinking about how to shape our proposal. And the community, frankly, has just been incredible through the entire thing. Starting with the leadership of Ellen, Jonathan, Larry, and many others, they truly have represented the community in a way that I've never seen in my many years of working with a number of local constituencies. Thrilled with where we ended up. I think we've set the foundation for a wonderful, long-standing relationship, and we're very much looking forward to 2014 when we actually start our project physically on Roosevelt Island, and many more conversations to come. So thank you all so much. Dan?
So I just first wanted to reiterate my thanks from the sort of academic side of the project that Kathy and I have the privilege, frankly, of leading here together, to Jessica and also to Speaker Quinn and to the entire Roosevelt Island community. It's in many ways reminiscent of Ithaca, where our main campus is, where it really is a tight community, and it's a wonderful thing to be becoming a part of. On the programmatic side, I just wanted to stress what an amazing milestone this is. This is a truly revolutionary project, and this is a step toward getting that revolutionary project off the ground. This is a partnership of government, academia, and industry, unlike any that's happened elsewhere in the world. And it's a partnership that's going to accelerate the tech sector here in New York City and fuel our information age economy here in New York, and really keep us as leaders of the information age economy here in the city. So we've really been overwhelmed by support for this project, and we've already been working very hard and will continue to work very hard to exceed the high expectations set by the Bloomberg administration in the original call for proposals, and in all of the interactions that we've had with the administration, the city council, and our local neighbors. Just as Cornell Tech is pioneering this new curriculum, which we've already started in temporary space in Google's building in Chelsea, this whole campus is going to be unlike any other university campus that exists today. We're going to innovate in many ways, from the companies and nonprofits that are going to be an integral part of both the programming on the campus, the degrees that we offer, the education, and also of the physical space on the campus, to the open sort of floor plans that are very different from what you see in most academic buildings, to the sustainability of our buildings and our iconic architecture that takes advantage of this amazing site at the south end of the island. And just in closing, I want to say we can't wait to be moving to our permanent location on Roosevelt Island. It really feels much too far away right now to us. And so we look forward to getting the physical part of the project off the ground, and thanks, Mike.
Ellen Pollaby. Thank you, Jessica.
My name is Ellen Pollaby, and I'm the co-chair of the Community Coalition, and I'm also the president of the Roosevelt Island Residents Association. And on behalf of the community, the entire community of Roosevelt Island, we would like to thank Jessica and Kathy and Pete, Megan, for all the really hard work that you've done this entire year, merging the two cultures together and helping us to take a world-renowned institution and bring it to a world-renowned island and help the two cultures come together in a way that makes a united front and makes something that is even bigger than each of us together. You know, that kind of synergy is something that we really were trying to reach for in this year in the Community Coalition, and I think we found it. So I'm totally excited to have Cornell come, and I really can't wait till you break ground and we finally have your presence on Roosevelt Island. Thank you very much, and thank you so much for adopting our school. It's going to be
We're excited about it.
It's so great. Thank you.
I'm Jonathan Galkin. I'm co-chair of the Roosevelt Community Coalition. I just want to thank everybody for doing, especially people in the coalition at Cornell and Councilmember Lappin, who have literally worked for almost a year and a half to 2 years on this kind of stuff. Cornell, one of the things I was most impressed with, anybody knows me, I'm very impressed with tech, and I really wanted a tech university on Roosevelt Island, but I was particularly impressed with the amount of meetings and the amount of time that they spent with us, Cornell, on developing programs, on trying to figure out what the community needs. And they met with us many, many times, sometimes over coffee, sometimes in Ellen's apartment. And I was just very impressed that not only were they making a commitment to Roosevelt Island, but they were also making a particular commitment to the students, and especially starting with the program this summer. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved in this. It's been very impressive. Secondly, I'd just like to say that I'm actually a somewhat new resident of Roosevelt Island. I came in 2006, and very slowly I became a part of the Roosevelt Island family. I know that Kathy is a neighbor of mine, and I just wanted to welcome Cornell to Roosevelt Island. You now are officially Roosevelt Islanders. Thank you.
Larry?
Hi, I'm Larry Parnes. I'm a Roosevelt Island resident, and I'm also mayor of Community Board 8. The board wants to thank Cornell and Jessica, the coalition. I think everybody was very accessible, providing responses to questions, coming to meetings, etc. Made the work of the community board a little bit easier. It was a tough time, and now we look forward. I think we got halfway through. Now we look forward to working with the university and the council member coalition and helping this project become a success and helping Roosevelt Island become a good neighbor and a neighbor to us. So thanks.
And the last thing I want to say before I take questions is not only is this such an exciting project, but it's also a tale of community activism, in that over the years there have been all kinds of cockamamie schemes proposed for the southern tip of Roosevelt Island. Hotel conference towers, residential housing, big box stores, and each and every time the community and the elected officials came together and said no. And because we were successful in each of those battles, we were able to say yes to something that really is such a positive thing for our city. Any questions?
What's the time frame like on the ferry pilot program? When does that start? When does it run to and from, and what does it entail?
Sure. So our goal is we have to get the capital funding, which we're looking to raise privately, and the permits from the federal government, which we anticipate will take roughly 12 to 18 months. So what we're looking at is seasonal ferry service that my hope is would start next year. And we're looking to do something in the summer months, on the weekends. This will also help with the all of the people who've been coming to the FDR Memorial, which has been a huge success. But on the weekends, when a lot of the tourists and other residents want to go to the island, we're going to start with that. I hope and I assume and I am sure it will be a great success, and then we'll build it out from there. Sure, Rick.
What are the next steps that are required before final approval for the project? I'm specifically talking about negotiations with the Roosevelt Island Operating Corporation.
So Cornell, do you want to answer? Sure. So the Roosevelt Island Operating Corporation is the board that is appointed by the governor that runs a lot of the day-to-day on the island.
So we've been meeting quite a bit throughout this same period with the staff of REOC and met with the board. Actually, probably been about a year since we met with them. There are a number of actions we'll be looking now to formalize with REOC, everything from construction approvals all the way through an action which is a piece of land which needs to be abutted to our parcel to make the parcel complete. So we'll be working with the REOC board and the REOC staff very closely in the coming months on that.
Is there a time frame by which this has to be completed?
I'd very much like to see it complete in the next few months.
Did you have to wait on that stuff before, for the city council to approve before you could move forward with that?
We needed to wait on the abutting the land for the environmental impact study to be completed.
When will you begin to deconstruct the buildings that have to be taken down?
2014,
But
and the campus will open on Roosevelt Island in 2017.
2017, okay. And what about the barging? How much stuff do you think will come by barge, or do you have any idea of percentages? Where will the, presumably there'll be somewhere where it's offloaded from trucks, unless you're actually going to take it by barge from wherever it's manufactured.
So I'll let Cornell do some of the specifics, but this really is the first time that significant barging has been done on a construction project in New York. And when we say significant, 50% more than in a traditional construction techniques. And it's going to be a lot of the really heavy materials that not just tax our environment, but tax our infrastructure and our roads. And if you've been to Roosevelt Island, there's just one street, Main Street. And we wanted to get as much traffic off of Main Street as is possible. But I could have Cornell explain to you some of the bulk materials that will be coming off.
Yeah, and I'm not the expert on that, so I'd be happy to follow you up if you have specific questions. But we're very, very excited to be able to implement this barging program. As the community knows, we worked for a number of months to really understand the options here because it's extremely complex. And when we were ready to promise what we could do, we wanted to make sure we could actually do it. So there are really a couple of areas in which we're going to be barging. Our estimate is that we are going to reduce well over half of the planned truck trips that a normal, typical construction project would have on this campus, for a campus like this. The first step is leaving all the demolition materials in place, and so that reduces the number of potential truck trips significantly. Then as far as barging goes, we're talking about bulk materials as well as very heavy materials that will come by barge versus coming by truck, and examples of that would be steel, for example.
And this wasn't done at the World Trade Center site, not being done at Hudson Yards. I mean, even on really massive, big construction projects in the city, this hasn't been done. So this is a very exciting, groundbreaking thing. Pun intended.
There are a lot of additional costs that are going to be incurred on Roosevelt Island because of the construction and the new campus. Will the City of New York somehow be involved in compensating Roosevelt Island for any of those costs?
Well, the City of New York is contributing up to $100 million towards the project, and the City of New York is always on the hook for services like police services, for example. So the city will live up to its obligations, and I know that Cornell wants to be a very good neighbor and a real, very active part of the Roosevelt Island community, and they're going to do that.
All right, we're going to have to wrap up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.